All right, we're finally getting to the motor. This will be the first installment on motor assembly. We got a 360 block here. It's all ready to go together. So the motor is a 360. Buddy that's helping me build it said I didn't want a truck motor, so when I was ready to buy, the search was on, and it was a little bit difficult to find something that was actually out of a car. So I bought this, came from Southern California. I had it shipped. It was a complete motor. And the guy I got it from said it came from Cordoba, 76, 77, right around there. So it's that on the block. It looks super good inside. I was a little worried because the oil pan was full of water, but that kind of actually ended up being a good thing, because what happened was the water forced the oil up, since water's heavier than oil, forced the oil up in the block. So the rotating assembly was totally surrounded by oil and preserved, and this thing had been built before, so all the bearings are 1010. It's 30 over, but it's just really clean. The cylinder bores, I did a stone hone on them. They cleaned up really nice. There was no ridge at all to begin with, but I just ran the stone hone in there just to clean them up. So I think I'm going to get by with iron rings and just the hone. It's going to be good, you know, good enough for a daily driver.
Oh, you put cam bearings in already.
No, they're there.
Those are the old guys.
Oh, so you want to take out the old ones?
Yeah.
And put in new ones.
Right.
Ah.
And I don't have a cam tool yet. Cam bearing tool.
Fuck.
It's supposed to be here anytime.
Right. Anytime.
But I
between
figured
now and
we could start with plugs, right?
Yeah.
Block plugs.
start doing all the other shit.
What
Yeah.
else can we do?
Yeah. I mean, do block plugs. Looks like all the oil galley plugs are still in
Never
there.
took 'em
Never
out.
took them out. Okay.
I cleaned the oil galleys with brushes
Okay.
when I cleaned this.
Yeah. Okay.
And the block is clean as hell, if you ask me. You may
I'll
say
be the judge of that.
You may say something different.
Oh shit! You know what?
Break out the white cloth.
Dude, do you have any of those like blue towels? You know the paper. You know the ones from Who's What's It? The auto parts store.
I
Whichever.
think that's where he's going.
I'll fetch it.
Yeah, we got stuff. We got stuff.
That's ganked. Is to just use the technical term.
That's a modern day term, ganked, right?
Yeah, I know. I got that from my friend Nathan. He's the guy that came up. It's pretty early.
So if you're an old guy like us and you say ganked, that means you're cool, you're hip, right?
Oh no! To me, no. I always thought that was like shit. You know what I didn't bring?
So I don't know.
It's just that bothers me because I catch my thumbnail on it.
We'll clean
Do
it.
we have like small emery cloth, something?
Oh, we
We
do.
got tons of stuff.
Because that needs.
Oh, is it a lump there?
Feel that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Whoops.
It needs
No es
restored.
bueno.
Yeah, and there's one here too. So you don't want that because what happens is you put the bearing shell in, and it pushes it up, and that's gonna transfer to the crank, and
Okay.
bad things happen. So
Do you think we should take it off this stand right now for putting plugs in it? And,
I
or no?
like to. I mean, the rear cam plug's not that big a deal. Oh, you know what? It depends on the cam tool. So here's the thing: without having the cam tool here, we don't know how far it protrudes. So if you put the rear cam
Oh, I
plug
see.
in when you
Yeah.
put the cam
Sure.
that
Might have
cam
to be
bearing
out
in,
there.
it may pop the thing out.
I see.
But
I've always
that's-
done those absolutely last. Quite frankly, I've built
Right.
tons of engines where they didn't have a cam plug until it came off,
And then
and it's about to go in the car.
Okay.
Or like in the case, you know, you load it into the the customer's back of their truck, and it's like, hey, wait a minute, let me put this cam plug in.
Got an extra
So
part.
the only other reason we would take it off the stand is to
Get
put
all
the
that
other
shit.
block plug in.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Which again, quite frankly, wow, you could do that. Yeah, you can do that either or. I mean, if it's, you can't do it when it's on a hoist because it's swinging. It's got to
Sure.
be like on something. It is easier now to maneuver it, so we could do.
Take it off, put the face of the block right on your board right here, and on the ground. Anyway,
This
got
board is
lots of
garbage,
carpet.
man.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust that.
It's not even plywood. Let me check
Oh.
my tracking on that cam tool.
But while I'm here, let's you want to help? I got because I'm a fucking weakling, man.
Me
Ever since
too.
I got carpal tunnel, it's like I can't. There's so much shit I can't do anymore. And then I fucked up my handle. I was on vacation, so I kind of
Oh,
like.
shit.
You know how I did it? I figured out. This part right here, it was swollen. You could look at it. Still actually is a little bit.
I can see a little bit.
It was fucking puffy, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm on vacation.
Oh,
What the
fuck,
hell did I
what'd you
do? I figured it out last weekend at Mopar Alley. So I was using my left hand to close the trunk of the Belvedere. Closing the trunk
Hit it just
and
wrong.
right here.
Yeah.
And I closed the
You
thing because I was
feel
in and
that?
out of the trunk a bunch of times, and I'm all, holy shit, it's hurting in the same spot. And I went, and I
Oh.
like replayed it in my mind. We had a Dodge Charger rental car, and the trunk, it's like, well, it's got the rolled edge. And you
You
push,
were-
yeah.
Right on that edge.
For a week. We were like going snorkeling, you open the trunk, throw shit
Yeah.
in, close it, get to where you're going, open it, close it, how many times a day?
Something
And
in
I'm
there.
like, and I just bruised the shit out of it or something.
Either there's some blood vessel or something passes
Yeah.
right through there.
And it's much better, but
Yeah, that's odd.
I made it worse on Wednesday night Wednesday evening coming home from work because there's some fuck nut trying to move over from the left lane to the right lane, and they stopped because people weren't letting them by.
Oh, yeah,
So they had
stopping
put their
is the
signal
best
on
thing
and
to
just
do.
stopped.
There you go.
So they did it like twice, and I'm like, ah, and I went, oh, fuck.
Like, it hurts. Your road rage is causing you pain.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
it is.
People
Do you have any razor blades?
have shitloads of them.
You mean like
So
this?
let's do this. Wait,
What?
hold on. Go like this, so that it doesn't fall in the board. Oh,
Watch out!
that was my toe.
Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, I don't have workers' comp. So, no. Go like this. So it falls.
Oh, that's why this thing rotates.
Yeah. So when
crap.
so go like this, and that way the shit doesn't fall in
I
the
see.
bore. It's any of the crapola just falls away from it. I mean, we're gonna wipe them down anyway, but I'm just trying to minimize.
What do you think of those cylinder bores?
I mean,
I just ran a stone hole through them.
yeah, they definitely need to be cleaned more.
Well,
Uh,
yeah.
But it's not bad.
Good
I
enough
mean-
for an iron ring, eh?
Yeah, for a budget overhaul.
Rig and hone job.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be fine. My friend Doug in the 383 in his drag car way back in the 80s had 8,000 cylinder taper, and he ran like 1250s.
Yeah, see, there
Wow.
you go. I
So
was going to ask you, what was the name of that? Remember you told me you had a friend, he was an older guy, he had a purple 70 Charger.
oh
So
yeah,
It was,
Low
beat
rider.
up, but it was a super loaded RT.
totally loaded. He's dead now.
Yeah, I remember
he
you were
he
saying
died in 2017.
Oh.
Yeah, he had lung cancer. He smoked like all his life until he was like 70 something, and then I finally stopped smoking.
Well,
So I was too
oh,
fucking
late
late
for that. Oh,
Um,
God.
But he sold that thing like 20 something years ago or more.
Yeah.
He sold it to some guy, like I want to say in Milpitas or Fremont, because he was just like he just realized he's never
Not
gonna
gonna do
he's never gonna
anything.
get it. It basically got to the point where it had like 5 pounds of low pressure, and he figures the cam bearing just like flew out a chunk.
spit it out.
And he parked it, and it sat for like 15 or 20 years, and he never did anything with it. And so he sold it like I don't know, mid 90s. I don't remember. And yeah, and I actually wish I knew where it went
I was
because
thinking
it was an
about that thing.
RTSE. It
You
was.
said it had everything on it, didn't
It had the baby alligator green vinyl top. It had rim blow steering wheel. I'm pretty sure it had the rim
Do you have a
blow.
build sheet for that?
It did. we decoded it, and it was
Loaded.
we figured, and I can't remember. And this was before there was the internet was just starting. And
Yeah,
so,
there was nothing
you
on the
didn't have
internet.
that much stuff, and there was some code on there, and we're pretty sure what it was is a car that they they built and loaded it up to put it in basically in a dealership in a showroom.
Yeah,
Look at all the shit you can get.
it's like it's like Y38 or something. Yeah, there's those,
It had
like not a demo car, but it is called a promotional. There's
something like that.
there's a
yeah.
code for those. Yeah.
Yeah, and it had like, it's just a 440 Magnum, 4-barrel automatic,
Yeah.
323s. It got up and went, man. I got to drive it a couple of times.
You knew that car, Brian?
But
No, I remember him telling me about it, and I was thinking, man, that'd be a fucking cool car to do.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to have the luggage rack. I mean, it was loaded
Wow.
to the RTSE. It had the whatever the light package was, where it had the light that came out of the ignition.
Yeah.
Out of the
Yeah,
like
that's
a
the
little
whole
light
package.
came out of the ignition, so you could come in the dark.
My
and find
satellite
where-
had
where you
that.
put,
You don't have to feel.
You don't
No,
have
dude,
to-
you'd
you
open
don't
up
have
the
to roll
door,
it in, roll it
and
in
a light
power.
would come right
I
out of the
find
keyhole.
small holes better in the dark.
Yeah. My satellite had it of all things.
It, right?
It had that. That was and that was a trunk light. That's an under hood light. That's courtesy lights, and then it's got that glove box light and that weird little ignition light.
And it also had the thing where you could leave the lights on,
Yeah,
turn the ignition off, and it would stay on for like a
see,
minute.
that's a pretty rare option.
Yeah, I think it was rare.
Fuck, dude.
And
Yeah, I know where
I
that car is.
he told me the name of the guy that he sold it to,
Mm.
but I can't.
Yeah. Why would you remember? Why
I
would
can't
you?
remember. I can't remember that.
But that's interesting.
I lost track of the Valiant. The only car I know where two of my old cars are. The Barracuda's rotting in a carport in Shingle Springs, which really sucks. And the 67 Dart that I had popped up on for A-bodies only, I think in 2017.
Oh.
It was painted black, it was in LA, and the guy was like, yeah, he was telling all the, he was told,
Filling in the blanks.
he was telling the story of what he was told about it, and it's
Yeah.
original California car lot now, and I own this car. It came from Texas.
Yeah, just let me tell you something. That was like when
Let me
everybody
tell
was
you
making up shit
Yeah.
for that Polera of mine.
Yeah.
I just contacted the owner and I gave him the full spiel on
Mhm.
everything. And he's like, good, because he said he kept hearing different stories. So, no, I just remember you telling me about that thing. You said it had like a wasted quarter panel. I remember thinking it way back when, just like,
Oh.
but now that you can buy them and put one on in a weekend,
Mm-hmm.
it ain't a big deal. It's like,
Yeah.
whatever.
And that car,
That'd be
I don't
worth
know what it is,
fixing
but if it was still intact, it had all its original pieces. That car
Dude,
restored is probably
big
like
dog.
$125.
Easy. Yeah. Yeah, it's those kinds of promotional cars. There's somebody with a 70 Challenger. Did you see it? It was at Dianza. It was that red one. It had window slats. It was the same thing. It was a 383 Challenger RT, but it was
I didn't see it.
absolutely loaded. And it was one of those promotional cars.
Okay.
An event car, whatever they call them. And it's the same thing. It had everything on it.
Yeah, I learned so much shit from that guy. Oh my god, he's the one to tell me how to paint, and not that I really remember,
Right.
but I mean, I remember him telling me, like, when you're working on cars, think about it this way: everything is done. The way cars are built, they're engineered to go together quickly and efficiently.
Yeah.
Not come
You're
apart
right.
in service.
Yeah.
But he was a genius. I swear to God, the guy was a genius. He was like, oh, well, yeah, you got to do this and this tab, and he could just figure out, like, oh, you got to go in here with this small screwdriver and pop this tab.
He just knew.
Yeah,
He's just one of those people that could just,
Analyze it.
Yeah, analyze stuff and figure stuff out.
Well, he's that old school technology guy.
Mhm.
Those guys
Yeah, exactly.
just learn how to do everything.
Mhm.
That's cool.
And he told me about,
Like a Ehrenberg or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The house that he lived in, he actually designed it as a high school,
Oh, of course. Who doesn't?
drafting project.
Yeah, we all do
And-
that. Design your own fucking house when you're a teenager. It's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, and you're
Oh
right.
my
He said, "Yeah, my mom," and it was funny because and the house has been remodeled. The kids sold it, when he
Right.
died, but it's been remodeled twice. But But I remember him telling me like, yeah, my mom's one stipulation is she didn't want hallways. She's like, hallways are a waste of space. So the house didn't have any hallways in it.
Oh,
Just have
wow.
rooms that like linked together. It was bizarre.
That's it. That's
one way of
odd.
thinking about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess.
trippy.
Oh, well, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
whatever works.
so let's probably, since we have it on the stand, I don't know. You want to do the back?
All right.
Back plugs first.
If you want me to help pick this thing up, I'm going to go back and work on my car. So if you want to move something, I'll help you.
Back
move
plugs?
things.
What?
Do you want
I'll
to
put
the
in the
back
back
freeze?
freeze plugs.
Do you want to
and
do
shit.
that, or do you want to just wait on that?
Oh,
shit?
wait, and we'll do it when we do the cam plug. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I'll be back here lying down.
All right, man.
Back here.
Yeah, I'm cleaning the pan rails on the so I can put mine back together today.
So what's the carnage? I saw the picture.
Yeah, I
the picture
fucked
of the
up.
timing
I
thing.
just total brain farted, and I know I did not. There's no way I could have tightened those thrust plate bolts.
Mhm.
Otherwise, they would never have backed out.
Yeah.
I found,
You can see on the back of the
Yeah,
gear
you-
where it's off.
it just. I can see the one bolt that went for a ride around, and the chain just went boom.
So no
So-
carnage with the bottom end or anything like that? The
Nothing.
cam's okay? Or
Dude, everything. And
My theory is that compression is high enough to where that motor just
Dude,
stopped.
I was at the light. I just let the clutch out. Went boom, and like that didn't feel good. So then I still had the remote starter hooked up, so I was stuck on Union. I popped the filler cap. I hit the remote starter. I'm looking, and I'm like, that don't sound right. And I look, and the rocker's just like not moving. Like, okay, I'm fucked. And then I figured, okay, I bent every valve. I fucked everything up. I'm in deep shite.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did back here is I loosened the rocker shaft so there's no spring tension.
Mm-hmm.
All the valves are closed,
Mm-hmm.
theoretically. And then I hand cranked the engine run, and in full, I did twice, but
Mhm.
360-degree rotation. It's just each cylinder, you can hear it just like leaking past the ring, getting past the
rings.
rings.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and then I talked to Sean, and that's a 454 lift cam,
Mm-hmm.
and I have TRW forged pistons, and they do the fly cut where they just go and they cut this angle all the way across the piston for valve clearance.
Mhm.
And he says, if I can recall, he says, you should be okay. Before I even told him what I did, he says, you should be all right. He says, with that lift,
Uh-huh.
he said, he said, check it, but I think you're going to be okay.
Okay.
Because I was shitting bricks. I have a set of X-heads, brand new ones.
Mhm.
I rebuilt like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'll
Wait,
put the X-heads
how old
on.
are you?
Yeah, kind of old. So then I thought, well, maybe if I have to dig a little deeper, then but I'm going to run it.
Yeah.
But I checked everything. Yeah, I checked for vent push rods.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I spun them all. I mean, there's only 3 push rods that you can visually just, if you keep looking, you can just detect a little, I'm sure that's just TRW.
Could be.
I mean, it's just slightly.
Should I tell you what my
Some
auto shop
level.
teacher told me
It's,
in my senior year
Uh-oh.
when I was doing that with push rods and I was putting my engine together,
Yeah.
and I said, well, I got a couple of push rods that are slightly bent, and he goes, that's like being slightly pregnant.
Right.
And I'm like,
Dumb kid.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just like, I got 3 of them on there that, I mean,
Yeah.
when, they're loose and I'm spinning them, and I'm just watching the top, and I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of those things, is like, am I seeing it move, or
Yeah.
is it, but yeah, it is.
Or yeah.
So,
The question is it now these older push rods, like, are they vintage?
Oh yeah.
So is a slightly bent vintage push rod better than a brand new straight one from China?
Right, yeah. And these were just TRW replacement,
Yeah.
So,
TRW used to make good shit, man.
They
I don't
did.
know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
What,
remember?
they're not even in the business anymore. I don't
are they
think.
gone?
Who knows? There's so many consolidations that have happened because there's not much money in it anymore. I think.
Yeah.
There's the Edelbrock group now that owns Edelbrock, Holly, I think.
I was gonna say they
and,
own Holly and all that.
and Lunati.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
That's why I'm not putting that in here.
Well, there's a thing on ABA. There's some guy bitching about his Lunati cam and springs and blah blah blah. With something about Speedmaster heads, which I haven't really heard anything
Chinese.
about. That's
I think
why
they're
he's
Chinese.
like complaining that shit didn't go together or something.
Chinese
Spring
out of
pressure
pockets.
and blah blah blah.
Fuck.
And yeah, he paid.
Man, that just
He
sucks.
spent 1,100 with a dollar sign after it, which I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
On getting the machine shop to go through them, and they didn't do a
That's
correct
like in
job. And then
Spanish.
somebody was like, "So how is that? How is that like Lunati's fault if your machine shop sucks?"
Yeah, exactly. You can't put it on Lunati for that.
But yeah, people are complaining about being on hold for 2.5 hours. It's like, well, first of all, don't sit on hold for 2.5 hours. If I'm on hold for more than about 30 minutes, I'm done.
Yeah, just put down the phone.
And then you call it. How long did it take you to get through to somebody at Bullet? Like 10 seconds?
The phone rang and he said hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk to a guy and he's all.
And I had a hell of a time.
Did you need an interpreter for his southern
Lunati
accent?
took my money right away.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got an email that said, out of stock, order being processed. Okay.
How?
Generic.
So I emailed and said, what does that mean? Never heard from him. I'm like, oh, I'll just wait for it to show up. So I waited, nothing. Emailed again, never heard anything. Emailed again, never heard anything.
Wow.
Finally, I called, and after digging forever for a phone number,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a refund. And Bullet answered the phone and was a nice guy. So
Yeah.
putting a Bullet cam in this.
Yeah. Good.
And I think he said they're like 11 weeks out on production.
Yeah.
Oh, so you don't have it yet?
I don't have it.
Oh.
They're building everything else.
Okay.
I don't know. You don't want to put cam bearings in unless you have a cam. Right? I mean, what do? You put in the farthest back bearing, test it with the cam, put in the next bearing, test it with the cam?
No, you put in all 5. And then you test it. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
I don't like that. There's something there.
yeah, it's just you want to test fit it. I like putting the cam in first, mainly because you can reach with nothing in the way. You can reach through and
Oh, yeah,
hold it.
feed
And
it.
kinda,
Sure.
you know, you see a lot of guys with a lot, and I forgot to bring the long bolt, but we don't have a cam anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I have a bolt that's about that long, but it still isn't. For
not
me,
good leverage.
it's not enough leverage. What I do is I actually hold it. I put the cam through it, and I put my hand through here,
Right.
and I put my finger in the end of the cam and support the back end of it.
Huh.
I mean, most people guys don't do it that way, but that's
Cheery.
how
Your way.
that's the way I developed over the years. But these cam bearings are thrashed. It's a good thing you're changing them.
Are they?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
they look like
Yeah,
shite.
look at that. It's all fucking dark shit there.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
That cam was. I don't know if the cam was tight.
It's weird. It looks like it was just riding on the outside edges.
Oh, this one's bad. This one's
Is it?
really bad. You can catch your
Let's
fingernail
see.
on that one.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's toasty. Oh, well.
And bring Super 300. Damn it.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about. Let's see what I have.
I forgot.
Check your supply.
Got this one.
Pipe joint.
Is that the one that was in the back there?
I don't know.
Front and front?
Text pipe.
Alright, I gotta get working on my shit.
I can't even
I was
open
supposed
this
to
thing.
have this
This
done
stuff's
today.
still good. The Indian head stuff.
I forgot.
You want channel locks for that?
Mess this up. This is so frustrating. Dude, I can't even deal with channel locks.
Dude, it's probably been on there forever.
Yeah, but it's also my hand's just weak. It's just.
We're about to find out if it's you or if it's the can.
Well, I think it's a combination, but I used to be able to open stuff like that. But,
Oh yeah, you're weak, dude.
dude, yeah, I'm wrecked.
You're broken.
Yeah. Whoa. Okay.
Is it dry?
No, it's not. It just almost sprayed all over me. It kind of like had a bubble in it. So this'll. I've never used this stuff, but it smells about like Super 300. So
Yeah, I think it's the same stuff. I don't know.
it's quite similar.
I mean, it's just insurance policy, right? On block plugs.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you don't put them in dry. I've never put them in dry.
I've seen people. Almost everyone I see put them in. Does them dry. I feel like you're the only guy I've seen that puts that stuff on it. And I'm like, well, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. If there's a little imperfection, why,
Yeah.
And the other thing I used to do with them when they were steel with brass is I would actually coat the backside of it.
Oh, yeah,
Sort of
for
like
sure.
tar, so almost like undercoating.
Right.
At least it gives it a fighting chance.
That's right. I can't believe they even make steel plugs.
Yeah. Well, I think it used to be when I think it used to be enough of a difference for guys that they'd be like, yeah, I'm not gonna spend money on brass.
Right? Wow. I don't know. The way I see it is if I'm this far into it, I'm not gonna skimp.
What
Right.
what tools do we have for driving these in?
You looking for sockets? You're gonna learn where my stuff is.
I'm just thinking like you don't really want to drive it by the inside if you can
Mm-mm.
avoid it.
Yeah.
So and then this. Because
Get hammers.
yeah, I'm just thinking like because you've got to be able to. I want to try to ideally drive it like that, so I don't know. And hey. Alright, good. This may be a two-person operation. This may be one person holding it and the other person smashing it with the hammer.
Sure.
Just because the freeze plug, the plug is not going to kind of stay. Got it.
Got it.
Okay, are you ready for your exam? Let's flip this thing. Wait, there's two in the front. Should we? Let's get. You know what? Let's do these ones first because then we can hit downward and that'll kind of perfect we'll perfect the.
You want it like this or all the way?
Perfect. This will actually work because then we'll perfect the method, I think. And then big ass hammers. Sockets.
What do you want?
Hammer.
I showed you where the hammers are.
Dude, that was 5 seconds ago.
What's wrong with you?
A framing hammer. That's gonna be too bouncy.
We got Brian's selection
Does
as
he
well.
have anything that's like a mini sledge or something like that, or?
I have one. The one that you used to borrow.
Oh.
No, that's dead blow. That's crap. You don't want that. Yeah, I think that hammer's missing. You know that? You got this.
Oh, that's an upholstery.
Yeah.
My dad has one of these.
That's from my great
Well,
grandpa.
my mom has it now, but she doesn't use it.
Well,
yeah,
that's what happened with mine.
It's magnetic.
It was my grandfather's, and then my mom had that, and then now I have it.
Cool.
Yeah, so mini sledge.
That would be ideal.
Okay.
Are you okay pounding on your extension here with a non-soft hammer?
That's fine. Yeah. I do have that hammer. It was in my other toolbox.
Aha.
See? That's it.
I don't know if I can keep this thing up. You know what? I think you're gonna have to do it because that's gonna.
Let me get it started.
Do you want? So, yeah, that's good. Just keep going until it's flush.
I wanted you to wreck it.
It's a learning experience
Right.
for you too. That's what's good about a big hammer like that, is so you can. It's got a lot of weight behind, so you don't have to like beat it.
That
Just,
feels like it's going nice and straight.
yeah. That's the other reason I like to put some kind of stuff on it like that, is because
Yeah, it's bouncing now.
there you go.
Yo!
The oh, this is gonna make a mess. It's all right to like get these towels all messy, I'm assuming.
That's what they're there for.
Awesome. Not there. My face out of the way if you're gonna spray that. Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna spray it on the block.
Good.
So yeah, and these things have a. If you look, you can see they have a taper on them.
Right.
The hole, so it'll go, so it'll start.
Go down a little more.
It's dude, it's fine.
It's fine.
Ah! I'm making a mess.
It's alright.
It almost went down on the cylinder, but that's okay. We're gonna clean those again anyway. Smash it. So you can kind of. Should square up, because that's why I like the deep plugs.
Exactly. They find their own way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's good.
Bounce.
That's cast iron right there.
I'll wire this one again. Yep.
So now you're gonna be a freeze plug expert, or at least not a virgin.
That's right. No longer a virgin. That's the wife. Drop everything. Yo. Mm-hmm. It should be 1 through 8, and then 1 through 8 again. Yeah, that's the administrator login for the device. You're accessing that through a web browser?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to add an email for scan? I don't know. Want me to send someone over? I know you do. But I'd have to be there to see what's going on. There you go. You're welcome, bye. My wife, the IT person. I said, you want me to send somebody over there? And she said, no, I want to do it myself.
Okay, cool.
Right?
All right.
She's cool like that.
Well, yeah. Teach someone to fish, right?
She goes into the back end and administrates the printers and stuff.
That's good.
How's that look?
I think that looks wonderful. The letters aren't straight, but I don't think anybody's going to care about that.
You know, is there a way we can get those out and reclock them?
There you go. Perfect.
Oh, come on, doing the messy part.
Because I got the gloves on.
That's right.
You know, when I used to not wear gloves, it was like, you get the stuff on your fingers and it's like, well.
Yeah, with that POR 15,
Oh,
it
that's...
gets on your skin. There's nothing you could do to get it off. It has to wear off, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it just has to fall off with the skin cells.
Yeah.
It's the skin cells give up. So that one's going to be a bit of a challenge. So what you're going to want to do, just because of this pad,
Yeah.
as you get close to that, you're going to want to kind of try to shift the socket over. So when you're getting it started, make it, yeah. So, yeah, it looks like it's squaring up. So now start, if you can, start to kind of go this direction with it a little bit, because or maybe we need to get a smaller one or something.
And go from the inside. It's going in.
Yeah, you don't really want to. You always want to pound these from the edge, because what happens is if you pound them from down here, they deform, and it actually can pull the edges in and make.
I see.
Especially the brass ones. You know, and
So you make the outer diameter smaller if you're pounding from the center of the...
If you yeah, I mean, you know, how much smaller, I don't know, but it's how I was taught to do it.
I wouldn't trust
You know, 35 years ago.
that. Wait, how old are you?
Older than
you want to be.
older than you, a little bit.
Yeah.
I would, yeah, but yeah. The last thing you want to do is change a freeze plug in the car.
Yeah.
So I figure every little bit that you can do to not make that happen. I don't think I've ever had one leak that I've put in.
So Brian was pointing out where this is like a -2 or whatever. I don't know where he saw that number. On how many times they use the with core.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Interesting. That's cool.
I don't know where it was. You saw it. Oh, maybe over here.
Probably in a casting number
I
somewhere.
think that's it. Is that it too?
Yeah, I think so. Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Here's this night shift. I know that.
Yeah, there's a song about that, right? Commodore's Night Shift.
Oh, really?
That's a great song.
Check it out. Perfect.
One more for Big Man. Doink.
Alright. So. How's this one? Alright, you ready for your next challenge, which is the one on the front?
Yeah.
Now that you've perfected the pounding downward, straight downward.
Yeah, the cam tools do anytime.
So this is the whim of the.
We may just have a short day today.
Alright, this one's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Just
Yeah, I heard you could. You could.
The other reason I like to use sealant because it helps kind of hold it.
You just go to AutoZone and buy a cam tool, and then when you're done, you return it. And that's their renting. So
Really?
They give it to you for free, essentially.
They'll let you do that?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Really?
Yeah, it's a trick.
Oh, so if you don't bring it back, you just bought it.
Right. So I went there, and they didn't have any.
Well, nobody around here is doing this kind of stuff. Hardly. Maybe a machine shop here and there.
Right, we're a dying breed, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody that does this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I go to O'Reilly's and said, "You rent a cam bearing tool?" Huh? What? A what? So
Is
then
that
he-
in the catalog?
So then he shows.
What year, make, and model?
Yeah, right. Yeah, waiting at the computer. So then he shows me this chart of all pictures of all the tools they rent. It's almost like the menu at McDonald's, right? I want number 1.
Yeah.
And there's no cam bearing tool on there, so I just bought one. Come home, get online, buy it.
Yeah. You tried.
I tried.
Tried brick and mortar.
Again.
Sweet. Alright, so we're gonna have to find different socket setup, I think. That one's not gonna work here because of the
Ah,
dipstick.
true that.
The dipstick boss. Of course, you just talk to your dipstick boss.
I'm gonna turn this to get it on camera better.
Oh, are you recording? I didn't know that. There was no full disclosure. Let's see. That'll work. Well, it might be a little bit of a challenge, but
Right, shallow, huh?
it is a slightly shallow one, but this has a really good chamfer on it, so it should be good. It's just the diameter of this is only, yeah. So that will be your new driving tool. Where'd your dog go? Should take off back to the yard.
Yeah, back into the house. You know those house dogs.
Yeah.
They got their home base.
Alright. You learn to push your glasses up with the backs of your hands when you
Right.
get dirty like this. Going straight.
Kind of straight, like kind of pregnant.
Yeah.
But
Are you hitting the?
I don't know. I wish I could think.
Let me. So you can kind of hold the tool like
Yeah, right.
hold it down a little bit so you're pushing more here. You see what I mean? Like, and then yeah. So you're just kind of getting that one edge instead of the whole thing. That's good.
Well, I'll clean it so we can see.
I think you're fine.
How you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't know if that little dent was there before or after. Oops, I just got it dirty again. The one on the block. But
Oh, it's like a burr on the block, right?
But I think it might be on the chamfer. I don't know. It looked like it went in nice and straight. So.
Yeah. Cool. I don't know why they have a shallow one.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure either.
Maybe they need maximum flow in that area or something.
Although, if you kind of look at the diameter, there's probably some probably some ratio of diameter to the depth or something like that. They definitely don't want it ramming into the cylinder there. Actually, it might be. There's plenty of room. I'm not sure. But hey, if you're gonna have one leak, I'd rather have it be that one.
Sure. Yeah.
But what else? All right. And so were there plugs? I gotta look. I'm gonna see what. Were there plugs in here? No, there's probably not plugs on this. I think the later ones don't have plugs. Earlier ones do.
Yeah, I took nothing else out other than just the grease plugs.
Yes. Try and clean some of the stuff off here so I don't Get this everywhere. It's hopeless.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I don't even bother with gloves anymore.
I just like to keep.
Pain in the ass.
I just like to keep my chemical exposure to an absolute minimum because
That's why I'm living so long, dude. All the chemicals I've been exposed to, recreational and non-recreational.
Sure. And I spent 10 years doing this stuff for a living without wearing gloves, so I've got 10 years of exposure.
And my sister did none of this stuff, and she's dead, so that says something. That's why I'm so mean and ugly. Those are the ones that live the longest.
Tell me about it. Alright, let's see here. So, there's your cam. Oh, you got the hollow bolt. Awesome. Okay. Cool.
Let's see.
I was just.
This is the.
That's cam bearing.
Oh, that's the bearing. So I got another.
I'm just looking at oil plugs at this point. I just want to make
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I got this accessory kit. I don't think there's anything we need. There's the gear bushing, which we should probably bang out.
You can buy this stuff new?
Yeah.
And it's got the. Oh, that's used.
Yeah, that's the old.
But they have a new one now. Okay.
Right.
Because I know all the earlier ones I have done have this. Yours has 4 bolts that came out of it because I see them in the bag there. So, interesting.
This is a little hardware kit. I don't know what these are for. These are for the cam thrust plate? Or what? Well, 2 of those. 3 of those.
So, so if you.
Crank key, cam key.
So if you have the hollow bolt, you can. I've seen it multiple different ways. I think I've heard people talking about it being multiple different ways. You can.
Oh, that's how it goes.
3 bolts, and the drip tab. Then you can have the hollow bolt, which yours not drilled all the way through, which is good.
So that's why they don't put a 4th bolt, because that's there. I'm cutting that off and I'm putting 4 bolts in that thing.
You don't want to use the
I do want to use that, but I'm cutting that off.
cutting what off?
This locator,
Why?
because I want 4 bolts in it.
I don't think you need 4 bolts, but
I feel weird not having 4 bolts.
I don't. You just don't want when you tighten this.
I'm not gonna let it walk. I'll tack weld it on.
Hollow bolt goes up there.
Yeah.
So it drains.
That's why. Okay.
Yeah. Hollow bolt goes up there, and if you look at the where that goes, it's through to the valley. I don't know how much oil comes out of there, but
Right. They eventually eliminated that, right? In the later small blocks.
I think so. I think yeah. So, well, no, this looks like it has. No, you can see a shadow here. You can see where they're. So the tab, and yours has 4 old. I'm assuming these came out of it, unless these are new.
I think they didn't. Well, they probably did, but I had that
Okay.
already.
I see. But we can't do anything with any of that just yet because we don't have a camshaft.
Sure.
So, I really want to focus on looking at oil plugs, and there's no oil plugs that are going to go on the front. Like I said, some of the earlier ones do. And you've got that one. Now, was there one down in here that you took out? Do you have a flash?
I took no oil plugs out.
Do you have a flashlight? I use my phone, but it's not very good.
I have a small LED light as well, if that doesn't work.
Okay, so it still has the plug down in here. That's good. That diverts the oil to the oil filter. If you leave that out. get full loads of the oil filters. So that's good. Plugs there, we're good there. And then the only other thing is we need to look at the back and the top here. I wish I had remembered my burnishing tool for the bushing, although that bushing looks pretty new, but we'll probably put a new one in. But I do have the tool to install the intermediate shaft bushing. Pump drive. But I did not bring that.
Yeah, I always just feel like, why wouldn't you replace that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, what else? What else we can do?
Pull it
we
off?
should probably address these little nicks here.
Yeah.
Before we get too much further. So I don't want to be like ready to like put bearings in and be like, oh shoot.
Yeah. No, that's definitely not cool.
I have super small files at home that I didn't bring.
Oh, Brian's got
You know, like needle files and things like that. You can kind of like lay it in there and kind of just.
right. You think that's we need a file as opposed to some sort of emery cloth?
We can try some super fine emery cloth, but I mean a file will make pretty quick work of it. There's a couple, and I thought about it. I thought about bringing them, and then I just.
Is emery cloth different than wet, dry sandpaper?
That's a good question.
I don't know. Right. I feel like we should hit up Rizzo for a solution in this.
Let's investigate what he has. Looks like an Alexa or something. I'm just trying to dress the high spots. Actually, you know what? Well, I'm just kind of like gently going over it to like.
Here's a UPS truck.
I'm like super gentle here. You can actually see how it's shiny. You see the shiny
Right.
spots?
Yeah, the high spot.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's one over here too. So I don't know if it was together like that or if it was just from getting jostled around after you took it apart or what. Not pointing fingers.
Yeah,
Who knows?
who knows, but I just remember the bearings that I pulled out of here, which I don't know that I have them anymore, but they looked brand new.
Really?
There was no wear spot on the rear.
I mean, this is the upper, but still, if it deforms the bearing enough, you can,
Sure.
break down the oil film and bad things start happening. And obviously, if you did a full-blown, you weren't just overhauling it, if you had a line hone done, all that stuff, that would not be an issue.
So when you do a line hone, you don't necessarily have to change bearing size.
No,
That's not actually. That's not like. So what's that?
No, you
As opposed to a line bore. Would you say?
line bore and the line hone are similar operations. You take
So
do you have one of your main caps?
Yeah.
Where's one of your main caps?
Oh, a cap.
The main cap.
Uh,
I was just going to show you.
who knows where those are?
Well, they're kind of important.
Really?
But just because a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Sure. somewhere.
Well, I mean, you basically machine the face of the main cap where it sits, which obviously is going to make the bore smaller. Typically, they do about 5 thousandths off of it, and then line hones. You know, it hones it. That's when there's not a ton of alignment problems. Line bore is basically the same. They cut the caps so that it shrinks the bore, and then they actually have a tool that bores it.
And that's when you need to go to a different size bearing.
No. The bearings stay the same. They put it back. That's why they cut the cap, which makes the bore smaller by 5 thousandths. Then they cut it back to standard size.
I see.
So it doesn't affect the outside.
Okay,
diameter.
so
You're just
when you have to, I'm confused with turning the crank, I guess. So
Yeah.
that's when you need to change bearing size.
yes,
When
you're
turn-
making the crank journal smaller.
Gotcha.
So the bearing has to get thicker to compensate.
Sure.
But yeah, outer diameter on anything on a typical American V8, the outside diameter of the bearing doesn't change. Now, if you're talking about Volkswagens, my favorite kind of car ever, not those. There's no way to cut the case, like to make it smaller. So you just bore through it and make it bigger, and then they do have a larger outside diameter.
So interesting that you bring up Volkswagens. Brian and I went to lunch today, and he said that he was thinking about two different vehicles that you run on the verge of explosion. A nitrous engine, right?
Yeah.
That's when it's at its best, when it's just on the verge of exploding. And a Volkswagen.
That's the self-immolating car. I guess Teslas are self-immolating sometimes too. Another favorite car of mine.
Yeah, and the drivers.
This feels pretty good. This one does not seem to be as bad.
So what do you think next? We should pull a block off and do the rear? Or should we chill and do the cam bearings?
Yeah, the delivery truck?
Yeah.
Stopping. Nope.
Not at my place.
Normally would do this with a piston. You just put a piston in and it squares the ring, but I'm just kind of...
Why don't you have a piston? So we took the piston to the shop to have the rods reconditioned. That's why.
Do you have like a little ruler or something?
Same drawer you got that feeler gauge out of. Oh, well, there you go. I really do need a good stainless steel ruler. I don't think I have one anymore. Of course, there's probably 3 or 4 of them in my kids' rooms, which used to be in my toolbox.
So this...
That's pretty crude.
all I'm trying to do is to just make sure that the ring is
Oh,
basically square on the bore.
okay.
So really all you need is something like this where you can just check it. I'm trying to get down below where the most wear is from the previous assembly, you know, the wear of the rings. So yeah, so that's good. You just want to make sure it's not in there all crooked. I said basically about 20 should be good. The guy being the machine, the guy who owns the machine shop who's doing the work. Yeah, this is right what he said, about 20 to 22. Perfect.
You can bring your car tomorrow, Lee? Belvedere? Let's do a video on it.
Don't know.
You gotta check every one of those.
Well, I also just want to check the, like I said, mentioned earlier, the taper on the rings. Just to make sure these are going to go in correctly. But yeah, it doesn't, since we don't have the other stuff to do, like we don't have our cam bearing tool and we don't have, could put the crank in, but since I like to do the cam first, and you don't want to do the cam bearings also with the, don't want to do the cam bearings with the crank in because it just makes it a pain. So you can't really see what you're doing. So until the cam bearing tool is here, put the cam bearings in and we'll get other stuff done. And this is just peace of mind. You could probably throw these in and they'd probably work fine, but it's not like we have a deadline.
Yeah, so we might as well check.
It's not like all the shows that you watch, or, well, that some people watch on TV where it's like, we got to get this done.
Yeah, what's up with that? Every single show they're racing the clock.
We got to race. We got to get this done because if we don't make this deadline, we're gonna lose the shop.
It's true. They're always racing the clock. I don't get it. It's like, why don't they have a show? They should have ample time to build a bitchin' machine. Isn't that what the viewers want?
Well, that's what's great about the roadkill shows. It's like shit goes wrong, and they show it.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're gonna do here, right? We're not gonna have anything go wrong though.
Well, we try not to. So I think check this again. You feel like spending money. If you're going to build a lot of engines, you can buy one of those super cool piston squaring tools. Since you build, what, one engine every 10 years? 10 years, 15 years?
Yeah, right. Which is why I feel like a Chinese cam bearing tool will suit me just fine. It won't get overused.
So yeah, you gotta clean those too.
Yeah, clean those main caps. See, but look at this. This looks good. That's from sitting.
Yeah, some of that might just be some staining. If it sat, if it had any moisture in the oil.
Well, this motor was full of water. Yeah, but it was a good thing.
Oh yeah, you can see a couple little
It,
minor pock
the
marks.
water in the oil pan pushed the oil up all around the rotating assembly.
Nice.
So it ended up being a good thing. It's amazing when people have something that they're saving and they leave it out in the weather.
Yeah. Gonna fix it up someday.
Yeah, it's worth money, so that's why I'm saving it.
this on the other side, but don't want that to flip onto the ground.
Is there a secret to getting the thrust bearing out?
Small screwdriver. Small screwdriver in there, and behind the tang. Pop it right out.
Okay.
Don't jab yourself with the screwdriver.
Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, believe me. If there's a way to hurt yourself with building engines, I've done it.
Right? True story. Came right out.
Even got hit in the head with a cylinder hose.
I remember that. They took you to the hospital, right?
No, I just went to the doctor.
Well, same thing.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Wow.
Running, isn't that what doctors do?
Yeah, can you hear it?
Oh,
It's the new electric 360.
it sounds like it gets good gas mileage. Even though you're still trying to lose 8 pounds, should I offer you some Oreo cookies?
You can offer them to me, but I will turn you down. Thank
No,
you.
then I won't. I'm not gonna waste an offer like that.
You only get so many offers, what, per week that you're
Mhm.
allowed to do or something?
At this house, that's right. These are lemon.
Lemon Oreos. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Are your main caps taking a shower?
Mm-hmm. You're in the tub. So with the cam bearing tool, how is that used to remove? Do you just use is the cone reversible, or do you use a smaller one to push it through?
You just, it's just a tool for, it's basically a driver. It's like you just bang them out through the back. Like this one, you push out through the back. And then you move to this one and push it out, and then you grab it.
So
You're basically gonna pound him.
I figured that the
Through.
cones have a shoulder on them that bottoms out, similar to what we do with the freeze plugs.
Yeah, and they have a freeze plug driver that's kind of similar that we don't have. And
So how does that work if you're banging out old bearings? Is what I'm saying. Isn't there a shoulder that would prevent that, or do they use a different cone?
it should no. So the at least the cam bearing tool that I used there was it was, you know, each one of them was they're expandable, and there's just the ridge is just enough so that it grabs the edge,
Mm.
but still passes through the bore.
I
So
see.
you just put it up in there and snug it, and just bam, bam, bam. It's as if because when you're putting them in from the front, so it's as if you just keep going, right? You know, if you keep pounding it, it'll come out the back, and that's how you get the wings out.
Mhm.
So
Gotcha.
yeah. So yeah, I'm curious to see what it looks like compared to the one I'm used to use. Well, I shouldn't say I'm used to using because I haven't used that particular tool in like almost 25 years. I've been out of the machine shop business since 1999, so yeah, so 24 years since they did any of that stuff for a living.
See, God, we both got out of the car businesses and got married like around the same time.
Not to each other.
True. Not as if there'd be anything wrong with that. We have to throw our Seinfeld.
No, actually, you got married in. No, you got married in 5 years.
I got, 97 and then.
2002.
Oh, wow, okay. I didn't realize you
I
waited
was
so
a slow learner.
You gotta test the waters.
Alright.
Yeah, wasn't that
Check this one up here.
on Seinfeld where they like keep saying things about their friendship that makes that journalist think they're married or something like that?
Probably, yeah. I don't think there's anything, yeah.
And then once they figured out what the issue was, felt like they had to prove to her that they were straight.
It's funny. I haven't watched any of those episodes in a long time. This is really not the ideal way to do this, but making it work. I'm just going back and checking this one in a different bore because it was just on the tight end of the spec.
So they're measuring out within the specs.
They're most about 20 thousandths in gap.
And he said 18 to 22.
Yeah. And then it's right in front of me. That one was kind of a tight 18 in that bore.
Mm.
So I just was gonna check it. I just felt like checking it in another. And if I had remembered to bring my dial bore gauge, we could actually measure these. Yeah, see, it's measuring 20 in this one. So this is just, this bore is a little small.
Let's cut it bigger.
Yeah. Got it chiseled? No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm gonna test this. I'm gonna check this one more time in here.
So that ended up being a good tool for that, huh?
This,
A little.
Yeah, you just basically need it to be the same height all the way around.
You can get a square in there.
Yeah. Like I said, normally you just use a piston and you just shove it. You know, it has to be a flat top piston, or a dish that has the ridge around it. Just because obviously a dome piston you can't.
Yeah.
Not that you're going to build anything with a dome anytime soon because you're not racing, but.
Well, sometimes I'm racing to get to work on time.
No, it's different.
That's it.